Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nissa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. It is Vlogmas day 9, maybe? All just running together at the moment. But today's video is all about the planning for the 2 monthly grocery trips. So, as a family of 8 who live off-grid, out of the way, we shop 6 times a year at the moment. I'd like to reduce that slightly. I'd like to get down to about 4 times a year, if feasible at some point. At the moment, we do 6 times a year. So about every 8 to 9 weeks. This is going to be the last shop before Christmas. So it is I want to say the 16th today, I think. Actually, I have a watch on that has the time. It has the date on it. 16th today. I'm leaving tomorrow and I'll come back on the Friday. So it's Monday. I'll leave tomorrow and come back on the Friday. I'm going an extra half day this month because I have a couple of Christmas things lined up. I'm going out with a friend tomorrow night. I've got dinner with a friend and Mum on Wednesday night. Mum is going to take Thursday off as well as Friday off, so we're going to go do Christmas shopping Thursday and Costco and stuff on Friday like normal, and then on the Wednesday I'm going to do all the grocery stuff without her. So I'm going for that extra half day this trip, because there's just a lot to get done. I am having to park the trailer at another relative's place instead of my aunt's because my cousin bought a boat, so their front yard is no longer available for my trailer. So that's also a slightly different thing this trip. Mum lives in a unit complex and there is street parking if you get there at the right time, but I don't like leaving the trailer on the ute during my normal run around stuff because I go into shopping centre car parks and all that sort of thing, and it's just too hard. Now I could use Mum's car instead of mine and just leave mine parked, but the thing is that then I would be transporting all the groceries into Mum's car and then having to relocate it into the back of the ute, and it just seems like a lot of extra work and pointless. So I like to park the trailer on when I arrive, and then we pick it up first thing Friday morning, and before that everything else gets loaded into the ute, and I make do. Before we hit the fruit and veg and the Costco and stuff, it's not such a big deal. So that's the plans for this trip. Now, getting into the actual planning aspect of it, first of all, I was going to show you Lamington. So there has been a little bit of concern about the fact that we've only got Lamington on her own. Lamington was an orphaned lamb. Her mum got really sick. She had some retained products, couldn't feed her. She was an orphaned lamb. The family who had her couldn't look after her. They just didn't have the time or capacity to look after a baby bottle lamb. So we took her on at like a week old. So over that time she's been formula fed, bottle fed, and she lived basically in the house or on the patio that entire time with access to the grounds outside. She's getting big and we needed her off the patio because the patio also has my kitchen on it. Now I say this all the time, you do not eat off the floors in my kitchen because there's cats that's outside and everything else, but at the same time I still didn't want to deal with a lamb in here, and she liked to sit at my feet, so I'd come to the kitchen bench and she'd come and walk on my feet and then sit there in the way while I was cooking. So we needed to move her out, so we moved her out into a little yard that's within the house yard. We have 3 dogs, and they're all cattle cross dogs, so they have some herding temperaments, and one of the dogs I wasn't real comfortable with leaving Lamington out there with her unsupervised. She just, every time Lamington got a little bit manic, then Bear would get a little bit manic too, and I just didn't want to risk there to be any issues. So what we've done is we've fenced off part of the front yard, and Lamington's in there safe, and she's got the old dog kennel space filled with straw for sleeping in. So I'll go there and show you. Now, she's not far from us, and the last few videos she yelled constantly. You can tell she's not yelling now, and really it was just like being weaned. So she'd been weaned off bottles, and then she'd been weaned off access to me whenever she wanted it. It was done in stages, so she got locked out of the house a month ago, to the patio only, and then she got locked off the top of the house and onto the patio only, and she used to yell at me from there at night time. Like, I'd walk across the top of the house to go to the bathroom and she'd yell at me the whole way. And so then when we moved her out into the yard, she yelled even more. And she yelled herself hoarse the first day, and as much as it sucked, it's just part and parcel of the having to do that. You do that with dogs, and that as well is just having to remove them that little bit, and they cried because they want their humans. So let me show you where she is. Everyone's mind at ease that she's safe and happy that she is sitting in her yard. I don't know if you can see. Just a sec, I gotta lock this gate, which is always hard one-handed because the cats live on the fenced patio. So we have pool fencing around the patio because the cats live there and the dogs are not great with the cats. So you'll have, again, we have stuff around. I bought the dogs these gorgeous canopied beds and they tore through them. So I'm going to try and do something else with the frame because they really liked them. But this is Lamington's little pen. So she's got a shed there that's full of straw, and then she has this whole area here fenced off. Now, we had some really heavily overgrown amaranth in here that she's enjoying thoroughly. And she just lounges in the shade, don't you, Missy? So she's no longer yelling at me every time I come out, which is great. She's eating through all the grass and everything out here and sleeping in the shed, and she's happy out here. So it just took those couple of days of her yelling at me non-stop to get to this point. And we will get her a friend. The plan is to get her a friend, but we need one of a similar age and preferably reared with people, and we just haven't been able to source that yet. So for the moment, she has the dogs, and you can see that's Bear there, and Bear is perfectly fine with her. It's only when she was getting a little bit agitated that Bear was getting agitated as well. Sorry, getting out of the sun, and I've just realised that my mic wasn't on that whole time. So we will see how that sound was at the beginning. I may have to re-record it. But yeah, we thought it was better to be safe than sorry, have her separated from the dogs, and hopefully they'll get so used to each other that she can be let out in the yard during the day to graze the rest of the grass around and the rest of the amaranth that some seed has come from somewhere, probably the hay and stuff we buy, and can have the night pen for safety for sleeping at night. So we will see how that goes. So planning wise for the groceries, first of all, I'm going to go through what we've got here, and then I'll show you my inventory and the plans for planning and stuff. So storage wise, what I do before I do my groceries is I do an inventory, and I'm going to show you my inventory sheet shortly, but I go through everything that I've got to see what we've got left. So we have these tubs. These tubs are from Bunnings, and they get really filthy and people have problems with it. But we're outside. Look, there's my yard right there. There's a rooster somewhere nearby crowing. Anyway, we have these tubs. I have a whole lot of them. There's another few over there as well. Some get used more than others. So this one here is rice, and it has whatever rice we need stored in it. It's got some coconut flour in there as well at the moment. We need to tilt this down. It's coconut flour in there as well at the moment because I didn't have a jar for that. I remember when I opened that the other day, I wanted to put it into an airtight spot. That's where it ended up. I need to put that in a jar. So we have rice, we have flour, the flour containers, the flour bags get empty. This one's almost empty. I've got next to no flour left, and that one's empty too by the feels of it. So we're low on flour because I didn't buy extra because Daryl and I weren't eating flour. So these barrels have flour, sugar, rice, some miscellaneous things like the coconut flour, tapioca flour. I've got one full of shredded coconut, one full of buckwheat puffs, I think, plain flour, salt, all those sorts of things get stored in these tubs, and they are airtight. They get really dirty in the lids. We've cleaned these recently. We clean them regularly, but they get really dirty in the lids because everything catches in them. Because they're recessed. So when you open them, you need to make sure that you open it and lift it away from the container so you don't end up tossing that dirt in the container. They can be somewhat tough sometimes if you cross thread them to get them open, but because they seal so well, they're a good size, they stack on top of each other, we find these perfect. They're about $35 from Bunnings. So for all the cons that they have, they got enough pros that these work for us. So we do most of our bulk dry goods get stored in these. The next lot of storage I have is these big black and yellow buckets. You'd see me when I put them on the back of the ute, I take them with me, and then I have them stored here under the bench, and I have some black ones and some clear ones as well. The clear ones are all the protein powders and all that sort of stuff at the moment. So like this one here stores most of our dried pasta and rice noodles and all that sort of stuff. And that's what we go through and we inventory everything that's left before we do the next trip. And then we have other ones that have, this one's got some nuts, some rice, it's got sushi rice, sushi, seaweed, or just various different things in each one, and they're sealed under here. That, as I said, that's got the protein powders in it, and then they get closed, safe for food to be under there. They do get dirty on top because this is a kitchen bench. The kids forever drop stuff here. I did ask for that one to be wiped down yesterday, and it's semi been done, I suppose. And then we have a couple more of the black ones as well. One has oats in it, one has all sorts of spices and things like that. So I check those as well before I go. All our store-bought canned goods get stored on this black shelf unit here. Again, it's outdoors and it gets grubby, but we just clean lids. We normally stack cardboard on top of cardboard to stop each tray of tins getting as grubby on top. And we don't have a huge amount. We do coconut cream, tinned tomatoes, tin corn, things like that. So at this time of month, a lot of what's here is stuff that's come from the hamper. So like we've got Vegemite, and we've got enchilada sauces, and we've got all that sort of stuff mixed in with the normal stuff that we buy. And I normally do a whole reorganize of this before the new stuff goes on it, though the kids tend to unpack the new stuff for me, so I tend to have to do a reorganize right afterwards as well. Our home canned goods go on this big silver shelf unit. So we have, again, it's outdoors and we have dust and stuff on it, but we just clean lids. So, you know, we don't have a whole lot on here at the moment. Some stock, some cordial, some old coleslaw, cowboy candy, pineapple, that sort of thing. There's not a whole lot on these shelves at the moment. I haven't been doing much canning. We've just been eating all the food before it has a chance to be canned. But so I check this, I check the tin shelves. I also check the freezer. So I come in and I don't know why the lens is not going where I want it to. It's deciding where it wants to go. Anyway, I come in and I check the freezer. So this is the main freezer at the moment. We've got all these frozen meals will go to mum's, so they won't take up the space. We've got a fair bit of bacon and stuff left. So a bit of chicken and stuff here. Most of this will be used while I'm gone. There's sausages and some ravioli and some chicken and some bolognese. So Daryl will use most of that. And then all these ice packs will go with me as well, because they will go in the bottom of the eskies before I fill them, to chill them before they get filled. And down in here is most of that bulk bacon and stuff that I bought. We do have a few bags of things like there's bulk chilies and stuff like that. But there's not a whole lot in this freezer at the moment. And to be honest, if I reorganised it, there'd be a whole lot more space. But I will tend to do that when we bring more stuff home. So there's not much. This is fairly empty at the moment, but we do really need a second one, because as soon as I buy bulk fruit, it takes up a lot of room in here. Then this is the chest fridge. So it's pretty empty at the moment as well. Some produce that we got from the hamper, some miscellaneous bits and pieces, and that's about it. So by this point of the month, there's not a lot in this fridge, and we will use nearly all of that before I come back with more stuff. So again, I inventory it, but I don't know, someone's left ham open in the top of the fridge because, you know, children. And look, there's a juice there without a lid on it, and yep, this is my life. So yeah, that's the big chest fridge that we have. We also have an upright fridge and an upright freezer, and we use those for common use goods. The frozen vegetables that we buy, the fridge always has open stuff like open jams, open sauces, open jars of canned stuff off the shelf, all that sort of stuff. And the upright freezer has lots of all the smoothie pops and all the ice trays and all the Ninja Creamy bowls and all that, and like lemon zest and lemon juice that's set in ice cube trays. All that sort of stuff goes in the upright freezer. So we have those too as well. Other than that, inventory wise, we have a set of cupboards that the kids put all their cereal, rice crackers and rice cakes in, and I double check that. And there's a couple of those big black tubs with the yellow lids over their side as well, which has things like the popcorn and corn chips and anything like that that happens to be left goes on in those tubs over on the other side of the house, other side of the patio. Wind just come up again. So I check all of those. So let me get my iPad together and start going through how I actually plan it once I do all that checking. All right, so I always find trying to show this angle awkward, so hopefully we can get this right. The new camera, I probably should have pulled the other camera out and had it over my shoulder or something, but I haven't, and I'm tired. So in regards to the planning, the first thing I do is my inventory. So this is what my inventory sheets look like. I show these each month, each 2 months or whatever, and these sheets are available for download on my website as well. You can go to the website, you put your email address in, and it'll give you a link to where you can download these. So I start off with these inventory sheets. Now, what I have is I have 3 columns. I have my what's on my shelf, my base level of what I would like to always have on my shelf at the beginning of a new period, and what I need to get in order to bring it back up to that base level. So I go through all those totes that I showed you, all the buckets, all the shelves and everything else, and I write down all my what I have column. Then I go through and I adjust my base levels if I need to. So depending on certain things, sometimes I change the base levels. So I bumped the oats quantity up a bit recently. I alter the flour depending on how much we're going through. Our dried pasta, I bumped the quantities up recently because we were using 3 packets instead of 2 when we were having a meal for all 8 of us, and all that sort of thing. So I bumped the base quantities up if need be. And I just realized that my mic timed out again. Trying to do this in amongst everything else is driving me nuts. So I'm not real sure how good that sound was, but hopefully I can swing it all in post-processing. So anyway, the inventory. So I have different sheets. Now the color coding on the side is to do with where I get these things. Now this is set up from last month, so I haven't adjusted this for this month because I'm not going to do online shopping. Now, normally I do an online Coles and an online Woolworths that gets delivered to mums before I go there. And I use that to get delivered. I check what's there and then I get extras if I need to, except you cannot use Flybuy dollars to pay online. You have to do it in store. And also they have out of stocks. I went on there the other night and so much was out of stock, and I assume it's just because there's higher quantities going through because of Christmas. I don't know, but there was so much out of stock. Like Woolworths didn't even have any oats and things like that, so it's not going to be worth me doing an online shop. So the color coding was for where I get things. So orange is Coles, blue is Costco, green is Aldi, and the purple is Woolworths. And that is where I generally get these items from. So it's not where I have this particular time, but it gives me a guideline of where I normally get these things from. So I go through and I do all my inventory, everything down to the last item that I buy. I adjust the halves, I adjust the bases, I put my needed quantities in, and I go through every single item of food that we have in the house, and I do this. I then add certain things on if they're new, like we don't have any yellow mustard, so we don't buy yellow mustard every trip because we don't go through it that fast, but we have none of the hot dog yellow mustard, so we need that. Banana chips for the instant porridge, but also the kids like snack on them, things like that just get added. I made a note that I've only got 1 ravioli left, which will be gone while I'm gone because the kids will eat it while I'm not there, but that sort of thing. So every time there's something new that's added, I add it on, and any time that I find something that I need to something new that I need to keep track of, then I keep adding it on and I adjust as necessary. Now, the next thing I do is I plan any miscellaneous stuff. So I have set up this planner, this digital planner. It's not finished. I keep on saying I want to try and finish it so that I can share it, but it's really not finished. I designed like the layout and stuff, but I haven't done anything further. So I have this as well that I go through each shopping trip. So I go through, and if there's any specific like meal ideas that people have asked that I need to figure out, if there's miscellaneous items that need to be gotten, any plans, any requests, all sorts of things get listed here. I've just got a notes section for any items that I want. In here, the Coles and the Woolworths. So Coles and Woolworths have weekly specials. They tick over on a Wednesday, but the catalogs come out on a Monday. So at the moment, these things here are on special until Tuesday, close of business Tuesday, and then tonight at 5 p.m. the new catalogs will come out. I'll have a look and see if there's anything that's available after Tuesday that's half price that I might want to purchase as well. And then that way I know that this stuff I have to get from on Tuesday. I can't get it after Tuesday or it will no longer be half price, and this stuff is not half price until the Wednesday. So I have that listed there as well. I also have these miscellaneous pages. So this month we've got Kmart, and the items that I would normally get from Kmart. Kmart is a regular place that I go. It's cheap, but I also have One Pass and Flybuys linked, and I get 5 times the Flybuys points if I purchase things at Kmart, so that's always a good one. Big W, I buy my toilet paper, my laundry liquid and my dish liquid from Big W because they have it in bulk and the one that I want, but I also get 10% off once a month as well, so I use that against those. So I also, if there's anything else at Big W, I will check catalogs and things like that, then I add it there as well. Bunnings, I don't know what or if I need to stop at Bunnings this month because Daryl stopped last week or the week before, but if I need to go to Bunnings, that's what I normally do my list there. And then I have miscellaneous items as well for places that aren't these regular places and things that I need to do. So like I need to visit the JP on Wednesday at Carindale. I know that part of Christmas and just general things is that we need a new Xbox controller and new Switch controllers. And then this month I've got some extra Christmas stuff, which I haven't finished filling out. So, but I know that I need lollies for the stockings and I need to make sure I buy wrapping paper. And then I'll have other miscellaneous things that I will add, and I'll probably sit down and do that tonight. But sometimes I do that over the shopping trip too. I tend to take my iPad with me, and if I sit down for a coffee or something, I go through all these lists and I fix them up. I also tend to have a notes file on my phone, if I can find it, that I start off with December shopping. So each time I have it, I do my month, and then I add bits and pieces in there as I go, and that will end up being added to the iPad, or I'll add stuff from the iPad to this so that I've got it on me. I can access, this is in GoodNotes, and I can access this on my phone wherever I am. It's linked to both, it's on the cloud, so I can access both that inventory list and this on my phone while I'm shopping, so that gives me that. So those are the two base parts. Now I would normally have this filled in a little bit more, but I just haven't got there. I think partly because I'm sort of a day ahead of what I'm trying to do, so it's not quite finished yet. Now the other thing that I do is I check my specials. So there's that catalog that I talked about that we buy, that we get on Monday nights from Coles and Woolworths. I also, this is the butcher that I shop at, which is Mega Meats at Browns Plains. So they always have their specials on there. So they have daily specials. I don't get to touch much in the way of the daily specials because I'm not there on the days. But they also have weekly specials. At the moment, they have a bunch of them because it's Christmas. So they have Christmas specials on hams. There's some pork specials, some seafood specials, chicken, turkey, and then they have a bunch of beef specials as well, which will give me an idea of what I want to spend. So like they've got rumps for $16.99 and $26.99. They also have whole rib fillets for $29.99. Now Costco I think is $38.99 for rib fillets. That's a pretty good price. And they have bowler blades if I want something really lean and things like that. So they have all those specials showing, so I always check those before I go as well, so that I've got a bit of an idea of the pricings of things before I hit Costco or the grocery stores or anything like that. The other thing I always check is my Flybuys and stuff. So for example, my Flybuys at the moment, I have 52,200 points, which is $261 worth of Flybuy points. So I generally save my Flybuys for the end of the year. I use these for buying things that aren't normally in the budget. So I buy frozen prawns. For example, I buy green raw banana prawns by the box frozen, generally speaking, and I will buy 2 of them with the fact that I've got enough Flybuy dollars to go towards that. So I check my Flybuys and I check any specials that are any offers as well, and I double check those to see if anything is relevant to what I'm buying and try and buy. I will not buy something just because there's points available, but if it's something that I would buy from one of the 3 places, whether it's Coles, Woolworths or Aldi, and there's points at one of them, then I will buy it from there. So I always check those as well. Now, Daryl also has a Flybuys account and he has $60 available on his account at the moment as well, so we will use that towards Christmas as well, theoretically. The other thing is Woolworths Everyday Rewards. Again, similar sort of a concept. And I have saved $200 for Christmas on my Woolworths Everyday Rewards. So I have $200 there as well to use. I also tend to cash out my cash rewards. So for me, you can see here, I cashed out $150 worth of cash rewards that I had built up. Again, I save most of it until Christmas. I tend to just keep on doing it. So I've got $240 pending on there and $456 available extras. So I pulled out the $150 from there as well. I also pulled out $50 worth of Perkle dollars, which is a survey company. So I do surveys throughout the year, and then I generally save that money for the end of the year as well. A $50 Perkle gift card. I pull my Patreon money. So anyone who's a patron on my Patreon pays a membership fee, and those membership fees I just let sit there until I do my grocery hauls. I tend to pull them out every 2 months, every grocery haul, but I skipped last grocery haul because I had enough funds, and so I didn't grab it, and so I got double this one to go through towards the groceries. So the big issue with groceries this particular run is that it's been 8 weeks, and normally if it wasn't Christmas I would have pushed this one to 9. That glare is so bad. It makes the lens look really flary, doesn't it? Let's see if I notice it when I'm editing. It looks horrible. Is that a bit better? What was I saying? Okay, so the problem with the groceries this particular run is that normally I would have left this one 9 weeks rather than the 8 weeks, because it's actually payday next week, like next Monday, Tuesday, my government monies that I get, as well as YouTube pays around about the 22nd of every month, which is going to be after I come back. So those funds I would normally have waited till the next week and done 9-week gap so that I had the ability to access those funds as well. I'm just turning the fan. I'm not sure whether it's impacting the speaker, the mic. Now that the mic's on, it hasn't even been on half the time. Anyway, so I am just going to have to count pennies just a little bit tighter, but because I've got all those extra monies and the flybys and everything else, it should be perfectly fine. And it just means that we're a little bit ahead. So because I haven't had to use the YouTube money for the groceries this month, that means that theoretically that's a little bit ahead for things like the back patio. I did get a quote for the back patio saying that some of the sale funds I was hoping to put towards the roof for the back patio. I did get a quote for the back patio, but it's going to be too expensive to do it locally, which is unfortunate. There is a guy in Brisbane who sells the insulated panels and stuff like that a whole lot cheaper, but you have to collect them. So it would mean doing what we did last time, which is Daryl would go down and hire a car trailer and collect it all and then drive it all home on the car trailer, and then we have to return the car trailer, and it's really not great, but it would probably save us $1,500. So there's that whole, energy versus money thing, and what, I can't talk myself into paying $1,500 extra for some roofing just because it's going to be delivered to our door. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, but it means that by the YouTube money will come in after the groceries, so theoretically we have that surplus income that we can use towards the roofing and things like that. What else did I need to cover for grocery planning and stuff? I think that's most of it. So I went over the budget of what I had spent at the local grocery store, because I didn't buy appropriately for the new diet. And we have spent $500 over the last 8 weeks at the local Foodworks and IGA. Now, on average, normally it's about $100 over 8 weeks of miscellaneous stuff. The occasional bag of lettuce or tomatoes or cream or bread for the kids or whatever else that we purchase from some cordial or some soft drink occasionally, chips for the kids, whatever. We normally spend about $100 between the Foodworks and the IGA over that 8 week period, and it was almost $500 this 8 weeks. So that's not good, because the cost of items locally is a lot higher than what we pay elsewhere too. So we're not only spending more money, but we're getting less for it. So that's going to be a big planning thing required for this grocery haul. So there's certain things like that we use. So like the almond flour, I discussed that in the most recent video. I normally only buy 1 almond flour for 8 weeks. I am going to buy 3 or 4 for this trip, because it can always be stored in the freezer if need be, if it's going to be stored long term. but by not having it, it really restricted a lot of things I could make, and I cannot buy it anywhere near the price anywhere else than I can at Costco. So that the cream from Costco is really cheap, the cheese from Costco is really cheap. So I expect that this grocery trip will not be cheap as such, but I'll have used all this extra funds outside of the standard monies, which will make it feel a little bit better to me. But the extras are going to cost, so I'm going to buy steak and that. So the bulk meat order that I got a while back, I'm still working through all the bacon and stuff. We used the chuck steaks. I probably won't buy them again. It was fine. They made nice pulled beef. I didn't really like them smoked. It just wasn't really but I probably won't buy that cut again because it just wasn't as versatile as I'd like. But I will do another order through them. They do sell beef trim as well, like what I buy at Costco for much the same price, which would free up space in the Eskies at Costco if I purchased it elsewhere. But they also have steaks and lots of chicken and things like that. So I will do another one sometime after Christmas. I didn't want to do one this week though, with the crossover of monies coming in from YouTube and stuff, and just not having enough funds potentially for doing all of it at once, because you need to order six-ish cartons, and each carton is about 20 kilos. Now if you're buying like rib fillet steak, you're talking $25 a kilo, you're talking $600 a carton. So it's a big outlay. It's an extended amount of time that you're using it for over the 8 weeks, like more than just one shopping trip. Like we're using bacon from the beginning of this 8 weeks, and I will still buy some bacon because there's certain types of bacon that we like, but I don't need to buy, like, it's all the diced bacon. I don't really need economy bacon at all, because I've got all that diced bacon, which can be used as like, that's what we use economy bacon for mostly, is like dicing it up or in cooking or in meatballs and things like that. So there is a crossover there of things that I don't necessarily need to buy this time because I've already got it. But the meat online, I didn't want to order it and potentially leave myself a little bit tighter for Christmas shopping. It was the wrong time of year to do it. So I will spend more at the butcher than I normally would, because I will be buying probably a big rump and probably a big rib fillet. And depending on the sizes of things, I'll assess when I'm there as to how much I want to buy of that. The almond flour, cheese, dairy, those things were really significantly lacking this month that we had to purchase. Now, a couple of other things, udon noodles that I buy, the shelf-stable udon noodles that I buy from Coles, the kids adore them. We went through ours really quickly, because if Daryl and I were just having meat and veg stir fry, they tend to have something with it, rice, noodles, whatever, they have that filler product. And they really like the udon noodles, and they're super simple to prepare because they just have to be brought up to a simmer sort of thing. So, and they're shelf stable, which makes life easier. So I will definitely buy probably double the amount of those than I did last trip, because they are just a really easy thing to bulk up their meat and veg meals, as I do with the kids, with rice, with potato, with noodles, with pasta, with something like that. What else was there to discuss? I also did so the reason Daryl has $60 odd worth of Flybuys is because his Flybuys card had a promotion on. If you spent $50 at Coles 4 weeks running, then you got $50 worth of Flybuys back. So what I did was, over those 4 weeks, Daryl picked up one of them, I think, because he was in Toowoomba, but the other 3 I got delivered to Mum's, and so it's dry goods. It's stuff like fly sprays, or there was a whole bunch of the sugar-free, sour, like jelly jube lolly type things that were half price, and I bought a bunch of those 1 week to go in stockings and for Rocky Road and Trifle and things like that. So I bought those and got them all sent to Mum, so I will grab them. So that $200 was spent preemptively for this grocery haul. What else have I got planned? I think that's all I've got to think about this particular month. So I'm going to my shopping list, that planner page, and that will get a little bit more in depth. I will spend some more time on that, trying to figure out exactly what it was. There has been some Christmas requests. Most of my Christmas shopping is done. I'm still waiting on a couple of things in the post, which is irritating me no end. I sent a complaint this morning about one that I organised to be shipped to Mum. So I need it there by Thursday so that I can bring it home. And I ordered it on the 2nd. and it said dispatch was 2 to 7 days, and it still hasn't even been posted. They're posting it tomorrow, and it's coming from South Australia. So that's really unfortunate, and that is a significant part of a gift for a child. So we'll see. But Mum and I are going to do Christmas shopping on the Thursday. So for her to purchase things for the kids, but she likes me to be with her so that she's got a better idea of what to get them, or what I've already got them, or something that complements what I've got them, and things like that. But the predominant amount of Christmas presents have already been purchased. I just need the small stuff. So the wrapping paper and the lollies and stuff to go in the little reindeer sacks. Mainly just that stuff. Food-wise for Christmas, so within the planning for Christmas there, the almond flour is going to help. I always make a trifle, so I will make the kids normal trifle, and I probably will just buy sponge cake for them to use in theirs rather than having to bake them sponge cake. I did bake it last year and the year before, but I'll probably just buy it this year, especially because Daryl and I will require one that I bake. So I think I'll probably buy it this day, and we just buy the jam rolls, and they come in plastic and they last forever, and so I always do trifle. I generally do a pavlova of some sort. The kids love pavlova, so we will generally do something like that. So I will buy some caster sugar and some icing sugar, because I don't generally buy sugar that's already ground down. I just grind my own. But things like pavlova, the Thermomix grind is just not quite fine enough for my preference. So I tend to buy caster sugar and icing sugar at Christmas time to use for the baking, because we will also do gingerbread houses. So I have little cutouts for little mini gingerbread houses. So we will make royal icing to stick those together, and I've got Christmas sprinkles and that for that. So I need icing sugar for those as well. And I may pick up a box of the pasteurized egg whites to make the royal icing out of, just to make my life easier. We'll see how we go with that. I always make potato salad for the kids, and I normally make seafood salad. So the seafood extender will be on the list, because seafood extender with some seafood sauce and celery and bits of bacon and things like that is a favorite. Now, I don't know what the carb count is on seafood extender, because it's not really seafood. Well, it is, it's fish. It's not really crab, is it? So I don't know. It's got a lot of mix-ins into the fish, so I'm not real sure what the carb count is. I'll have to check that one. What else do we normally need? I normally make a tiramisu. Again, we'll see how we go. I have that sugar-free Kahlua that I made, so I might be able to swing a keto ladyfinger maybe and make a tiramisu. I'm going to buy mascarpone anyway, just in case I can get that to work. Other than that, what do we normally do at Christmas time? We will buy some soft drinks, so we'll get some sugar-free soft drink. I normally buy low sugar cranberry juice, and I turn that into jelly for their trifles and things like that. But yeah, so planning wise, some of it's just a by the seat of my pants kind of thing. The problem is that by shopping every 2 months for the last however long I've been doing it, I used to be able to just walk in and buy and know exactly what I needed, and now that's changed a bit, but I'm having problems putting it on paper. I still want to just do it by the seat of my pants, because that's what I'm good at, and it's partly why I don't take anyone with me when I do the shopping. It's too hard to have someone else there distracting me. Mum and I do Costco together, but she normally just is my, bounce off wall. But the normal groceries, the Coles, the Woolworths, the Aldi, and I generally have to go to more than one Coles, more than one Woolworths, and quite often more than one Aldi. I do them all on my own on the Wednesday or the Thursday, depending on when I'm going down, and I make it work, because I find it easier to keep everything straight doing that. So we'll see how we go. I'm hoping to get lots of fruit on Friday. I'm going to send Adam from Mega Fresh Browns Plains, which is where I do my fruit and veg shopping. I'm going to send him a message probably tomorrow morning and let him know that I'll be by on Friday. And then when he goes to market on Friday morning, if he sees anything that is appealing, then I am grateful for it. Or they keep any of the second stuff aside for me to grab rather than them going elsewhere. So yeah, that's about it. So that's the plan for this grocery run. I don't know. It feels it's a much bigger grocery run than normal because it's Christmas related. But I also feel like I'm not as heavily planning it because I just don't really know. We will see. We will play it by ear. I do check the specials on the Costco, in warehouse specials on Costco as well before I go. I also have the Costco dollars. I don't know when that ticks over. I think it's the 26th, so I don't think that's relevant for this trip. But I have the rewards for Costco as well because I have the black card, whatever it's called, and that will pay next year's subscription. The app needs updating. That will pay next year's subscription to Costco and then have a little bit extra. I can't remember how much is on there, but it was already over the cost of the membership, so that was fine. So yeah, anyway, I think that's about it. I've rambled enough, squirreled enough, and contemplated enough that I think I've covered everything, but I can't guarantee that because I'm pretty bad at covering everything. And then I go to edit and I go, oh, I should have said that, and I sometimes put notes in, and other times I sit there and go, I should really go and add something, and no. It's all just too hard. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to edit this tonight. The rest of the afternoon is going to be spent, I'm making smoothie pops for the kids to go in the freezer while I'm gone, and some of the small cheesecake pops for Daryl while I'm gone, and I need to pack my bag and things like that. And then tomorrow morning, Sonnet is cleaning the car out today for me, and then tomorrow morning we'll pack it all up, and I will try and remember to film us getting it all laid out because I don't normally do that. But if I'm going to try and continue on with this sort of daily-ish videos while I'm traveling as well, I'm going to need to capture those bits and pieces that I don't always show because I'm not going to have enough to share with you otherwise. So I do have my Costco app. Let me just quickly check that. What is where is it? Executive rewards. Check rewards. I have $193.66, and the membership is $130 or $135. So there's an extra $60 odd there as well that I will get back. It says rewards available on the 22nd, so it'll be January, February shop that I use those, which is nice. That'll be nice for that. I don't get typing in January, generally speaking. My transcription typing, I don't get work in late December or January because they take 3 or 4 weeks off over Christmas generally. So by the time I get the work and get paid for it again, it's quite often end of January, February. So it's always a little bit tighter in that little spot of the year. Not that I earn a whole lot from transcription typing anymore, but it used to be when I was earning a significant income, it used to make a big difference. It probably won't be as big a deal this year, but we'll see. Anyway, I squirreled again, didn't I? So I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for watching and have a good one.